Hey everyone, Wanderbot here, and welcome to some more Soulstone Survivors. I haven't played this in a couple of days, and I figured I'd play a little bit more. I've been mostly getting into Rogue Genesia, as it is by and far my current favorite, but that doesn't necessarily mean that I have to limit myself to it. So we're gonna just dive into some Soulstone Survivors here and there, and play some more of it. Let's see, so what do we have? I have curses, and I'm really curious about with 4 or more curse intensity. So, looks like we've just got to do all 4. So, reduces healing, explosive goblins, elite spawn more frequently, and every time you kill an enemy, 10% chance of a meteor falling near my location. Should be fine, I think. And, oh, what character am I playing as? I think I'm playing as the paladin character who I just unlocked. I don't actually know how they work. They seem to be pretty heavy on the melee side of things. I'm gonna have to watch out for those meteors. I did a run of this yesterday. Let's see. I guess... Oh, yep, there's the meteor. It, oddly enough, doesn't look like it's going to be too much of an issue for me. It looks like those meteors fall pretty wide, so unless I'm, like, really gunning it, I don't think they'll ever hit me. But if you guys saw the poll? Was it really a poll? I don't know. I put out a request of people to suggest, for people to suggest their favorite bullet heavens. And admittedly, like, this was not the one that actually got the most amount of recommendations, but I'm making a video on them, you know, 10 bullet heavens that I think are generally worth trying. And so, this was the runner-up by process of elimination, or the winner by process of elimination. Let's see. Ooh, empower you and your allies. Multicast modifier by 50% for 10 seconds. That's not bad. Otherwise, we could do subdue. Ooh. No, we're gonna go for subdue. We need some more extra... We need extra attacks. The multicast is tempting. I like the idea of that. And stacking a bunch of it wouldn't be the worst idea. But on the flip side, I'd need some extra attacks at the moment just to chew through the horde a little faster. Let's see. But yeah, there are other games that actually very much won the nomination, but they were already on my list of, you know, bullet heavens that I want to recommend. So it's just like, alright, well, I see critical damage. Cast frequency of Blades of Light. I guess I'll just snag that for the time being. I'm not planning on replacing it. I'm just gonna go all in on melee. At some point we'll mess around with, like, stranger meme builds. But right now I'm just kind of picking whatever the character is best at and not thinking too hard. At some point I should probably put the time into, let's see, subdue or AoE modifier. We want to go for AoE. Let's see, what was where am I? I just woke up. Well, I'd say I just woke up, but I didn't sleep much last night, and I just got out of bed, and so now I'm just kind of like, slightly groggy. 2 types, 3 types if I want to do Holy Fire. 3 waves of Holy... Okay, Swing Frontal Physical, Holy Swing Frontal Physical, Holy Missile Frontal Burst Physical, or Slam. Well, I've already done Slam. I wouldn't mind pushing a little bit of Holy today. I would not mind pushing Holy today. Damn. That's a good wave. It's a little frontal based, but still. Let's see, damage modifier by 15%. Yeah, we'll snag that. I'm mostly just trying to go for big ups right now rather than caring too much about specifics. Yeah, multicast chance of all frontals. I'll go for it. The extra AoE chance would be nice, but I mean, 36% multicast is great, even if I don't necessarily intend on rolling this long term. Okay, Shockwave Totem, Meteor, or Arcane Disc. All are pretty bad. I'm just gonna grab the Totem, not that I care too much. I'm probably just gonna replace that. Let's see. Max health by 45, armor by 16. That's Holy Fire, yeah? Eh. I'm probably not getting rid of it. I think we're gonna go all in on Holy today. I'll probably replace those totems. Even though the totems themselves are decent, I want to go for a pure summon build later. And this ain't it. Yeah, it looks like I'm going to be investing kind of heavily in it. Oh, that's fine. Oh, right. Somebody had said tags now work retroactively. So if you get an upgrade for frontal, that always lasts. Let's see. So, lightning bolts, it's kind of eh. And none of these are frontal. We have electric missile. Oh, wait, we cannot reroll yet. Still gotta invest in that. I guess I'll grab Flame Wave just because. At least my damage is good. Dice, which 20,000 damage, dang. Let's see. Area modifier of all of your burst abilities. It's like, it's not great, but it's still a 40% on my Holy Wave, which, yeah, it's kind of worth it. I don't know. I'll have to play around with some of these things. Let's see. Further levels on the Holy Fire. Today is the day of Holy Fire, which, I mean, not exactly to get, like, too sacrilegious here or anything like that, but I've been seeing a bunch of, Smite. Holy Empowering Lasting Area Physical. Holy Empowering Lasting Area Physical. So empower, 1 second. Oh. Healing, so Smite heals allies, which is kind of interesting. Smite enemies at a random location after 3 seconds with Holy Light. Or just extra damage. Let's go Smite. The universal extra damage could actually be quite worth it, but eh. But, I believe I saw a game go by that was straight up just the Bible on Steam, which is, like, fair, but odd. In a way that I wasn't expecting something like that to go by. And then I believe there's also, like, a weird RPG where you play as Jesus that's coming out soon. I'm not actually sure if those are coming, or if that one's actually coming out, because I believe the company that makes those games is known for making vaporware trailers. Okay. So slam frontal physical, thrust frontal physical. 2 types. So both are 2 types. The question is, do we want body slam? I mean, otherwise I could just keep... Yeah, let's just go for this for the time being. Area of effect of all of my frontal skills. Boy, my Holy Wave has racked up the upgrades. Let's see, cast frequency or damage yeah, let's go for the cast frequency. My cast speed is a little slow, and I'd prefer to be just jamming it out a little bit more. Damn. As that Holy Wave is nuts. Let's see, Titan Cleaver. Swing frontal physical. Matches 3 types. Yeah, let's snag that, and we're just going to replace the Shockwave Totem for the time being. And, yep, because of the pre-existing upgrades, it's actually level 3 already. Cool. I was wondering about that. You know what? More damage on the, Holy Wave. If it's gonna be my dead ringer, I might as well use it as such. We do not want this one, though. That's probably first in line to get replaced. Let's see. Yeah, let's get rid of the Fire Wave. I might actually get rid of the Fire Wave as well. Cast frequency of Holy Wave. It will just be absurdly high level. Now, if I could get it so it's gouting out constantly, that'd be great. We'll see. Damage modifier, but slows me down, or just chance to burn things. Not that the burn really makes much of a difference when I'm hitting for thousands, but you never know. Bosses, maybe? Right. What else do we have? Heroic Strike. Holy Swing. Frontal Physical. Oh. I thought so, that this would have 4. Do we want to get rid of Smite? Slow attack strikes targets in a large area in the direction you're aiming. Damage and confused. Yeah, do we get rid of Smite, or do we get rid of Body Slam? Let's get rid of Body Slam. I've used it before. And I do kind of want to stack as much errant holy stuff as I can, just in case we do get a holy upgrade. Boost all of my swing. And that's more area modifier, which I very much like. I want to be able to hit the whole screen, and I'm pretty much getting to that point, actually. Crit damage modifier by an additional 24%. Not that I've really invested into crit. So that's something I'll have to think about and work on, maybe. I feel kind of bad. When I was, let's see, Arcane Power, which is the multicast one. Then there's like Firebolt, but eh. Crit damage chance by 5%. Yeah. The cast speed would be nice, but we can get bigger upgrades than that, whereas crit is kind of weirdly rare. But I feel kind of bad when I was playing this originally. Wow, we just deleted them. And damage modifier of all frontal moves by a chunk. Sick. Cast frequency of Holy Fire. Yup. Chain Lightning, no thank you. Titan's Cleaver, Doom, or Armor. Let's go for the Doom. I was originally like poo-pooing the idea of melee in this game. I was like, why would I ever want to play any of the melee characters? That's so boring. Yeah, I'm a dumbass. Like, I actively didn't really care whether or not I played the Berserker character. But the thing is, every melee attack is a really solid AoE. If scaled up dramatically. You know, most missile hits will only hit kind of in a line or something like that. And so it's not super worth, well, I mean, it is worth upgrading their AoE, but it doesn't have this dramatic of an effect. And so yeah, if you really max out AoE, or even just push it an amount. Let's see, Heroic Strike. What is Heroic Strike? This one. No, this is actually... Is this better? No. This is better. Yeah, I'll go for the Heroic Strike upgrade. I'm probably not replacing it. I'm just kind of doing the internal math of like, okay, so if I get a 5% across the board, times 6 abilities, that's a 6% upgrade, whereas that one's 45%, it's better. I don't actually know if that math is good for this, but still. Right, I was looking for upgrade components. That was going to be what I was going to do. Also, the, let's see, Smite actually is healing me. It said heals allies, but no, it does actually heal me as well. So I should keep investing in that, just to, you know, give myself a little bit of healing. Not that it matters too much, but it does mean that this character is actually going to be a shoo-in for really hard matches, potentially. Because I definitely remember a couple of runs where I was really low on overall HP, and it got kind of stinky. Oh, I see, Curse Intensity. We don't care about that, though. I do need to figure out a build so I can actually get a couple of the, like, beat a run in less than 8 minutes. That kind of thing. Unfortunately, it feels like in so many cases, the real trick for that is just if enemies would spawn faster. Like, I could definitely fight 2 to 3 times as many enemies as this and not even break a sweat. Nothing can stop me. But I guess I really have to kill them that much faster and that much more aggressively, which is an interesting choice. Okay. Keep slam-jamming the goblins. I don't actually know if they really pose much of a threat to me with my own self-healing, but they're the only thing that I think could do damage. Multicast of Blades of Light? Sure. Bye. I'll have to try a harder difficulty. It was really interesting. First couple of videos for this. Let's see, do we care about any of these? No. Like, that one kind of matches, but I don't need it. Crit damage multiplier by an additional 24%, I guess? I could up my damage, but I'm gonna go for the crit. Because I do need more crit. And see. All swing moves. All 4 of them? All 4 of them gain 24% multi-cast chance, which is very worthwhile. But it was really interesting, the first couple videos that I put out for this. I guess I've only put out, what, 3 now? But I think this game has a little bit more mass market appeal, due to its visuals or something. But I was attracting a lot more people outside of my audience watching my video. Videos? Because, you know, I put out 3. But it was quite interesting seeing the amount of people trying to, not even humble brag, but it's like, oh, you think this build's good? Well, you know, try it again in Curse 5 or something like that. Or, just like weird comments like that. And I don't get them very often. I think just because usually my audience, you know, I'm only attracting a couple of new viewers here and there. Let's see. I'm gonna go for AoE modifier across the board. I want to be able to hit big. But usually when I put out a video, it's not like reaching too much wider of an audience. And so there's kind of that, I don't want to say like that implicit, understanding of like, most people watching my videos kind of know what I'm about to some degree. But always amuses me when I get people that are not common viewers. Do we want to do Leviathan damage modifier but slows me down by 15%? Yeah, it's probably a mistake and I should very much invest into some movement speed. Oh. Because I'm actually going to die. Let's see. Behemoth, resilience. I'm just gonna go for the durability. Yeah, 15% movement speed seems to be the difference between me never getting hit and me getting hit kind of a lot. And I'm a total glass cannon because I haven't needed to worry about damage up until this point. That speed trade-off is stanky. Let's go for the slow. I mean, none of it really matters. I'll make it work. It's just an interesting difference immediately. But yeah, I always just get kind of weirded out when I get people that are trying to like, I mean, I guess get into a dick measuring contest with me. I'll say that outright. Like, obviously, that's not exactly the case. It's more allegorical than anything else. But it's one of those that, like, I don't often end up in that position where somebody is actively trying to make themselves look better at my expense. I see it every once in a while, but it always kind of weirds me out because it's just like, what are you trying to prove? But I think the answer is just a lot of people don't really have the opportunity to socialize with other people in a competitive scene. And after years and years of, you know, solo queuing on competitive FPSs or other such games, or just being on the internet, you kind of lose a lot of social skills. I gotta think about this a little bit, just in terms of myself. You know, my social skills have very much become informed based on my career. So I was in a car going to the airport with my family because we were it was my brother, myself, and my brother's fiance. And they were going to Canada, I was going to New York. And so we were all getting dropped off, and I'd specifically said, like, you know, I have an uncle that's a dentist. To my own family, which, you know, on their end is like, what is Wander talking about? We don't have any uncle dentists. Like, that's not a thing in our family. Where's he getting this? And so, you know, it's like, is Wander lying? Is Wander, like, just making shit up for storytelling purposes or other things? Let's see. Movement speed by 30%. Oh, that's better. And multicast of all holy type. Yeah, I'll snag it. Fateful strikes. Let's see, reduces all damage taken by 2. And we do have an endless portal. Finally! Escape the void or go deeper. Go deeper! So, I don't quite know how loops work in this. It looks like it's just, continue the run. Go as deep as you can. I think we only need to clear, loop level 1. Let's see. I should go for the multicast. But, so, for you guys, like, it doesn't really matter. You know, I can say I have an uncle. Well, okay. It does matter. You know, honesty is kind of important, but I could say I have an uncle that's a rocket scientist. And because none of you actually know who I am, there's no, like, real easy way for anybody watching this video to verify that without figuring out who I am. And I've actually had this happen a couple of times. You know, I was talking, my dad does COVID research, and somebody, like, legitimately got quite annoyed by that. That, you know, I had this sort of expert on hand to, I'm going to say, kind of counter their own opinions. And so they started leaving a bunch of comments casting doubt on the existence of my father, and was implying all sorts of other things about him, which is just kind of like, you know, at that point you're reaching. But it is an interesting kind of note of, you know, my social skills are so limited based on kind of an online presentation where I don't need to substantiate fully. I still do. Because obviously, like, if I start throwing out too wild of stuff, then it's just kind of like, okay, yeah, Wander. But, you know, I'm not actively trying to bloviate. Is that the word, I think? I mean, kind of. I'm not trying to puff myself up with anything anymore. I don't really need to prove stuff. If anything, it's actually almost kind of obnoxious. I don't have as many stories to tell nowadays. Which makes it a little harder to be interesting. So, some amount of social commentary ends up being kind of taking its place. Let's see. Go for cast speed. I want to be able to just be gunning stuff out constantly. It seems like we're pretty much there. But so yeah, once again, my own social skills have been kind of stunted by isolation. And generally only interacting with the internet. And I wonder how much that is going to be a problem for a lot of people long term. I'm just gonna keep investing in movement speed for a little while. And maybe a little bit of durability, considering endless mode is maybe a little tougher. We'll see. Merciless. We should probably also, yeah, let's grab Merciless. What is my crit chance at the moment? 18%, so I should really start investing in that. I can invest a lot into crit damage, but it's not going to be as worthwhile. Multicast of Heroic Strike by 60%, sure. Social skills being skewed by isolation. I don't know. I don't necessarily know I'm going with that. Oh, hey, crit chance by an additional 15%. That's exactly what I need. Yep, up to 33 now. If I could get that to 100, I'm curious. I'm curious if you can overcrit. I have hiccups. Now, Parai 8 is trying to come back up. What was I gonna say? Right, social skills and people on the internet. I've already noticed that there's a very drastic, let's just keep going for movement speed. I want to be able to zip around. Because being able to go fast means I don't get hit nearly as much. But yeah, seeing people interact with Shell has been interesting as far as like being an online broadcaster goes. That there are a lot of people that will react to her presence and existence in a way that is very milady or worse. And that it's one of those where I feel kind of legitimately bad for some of these people who, you know, are doing their best to interact with somebody and just absolutely beefing it in the worst possible way. And I can't tell if many of them have like any malice or even really creepy tendencies, or they just legitimately have no idea how to interact with people outside of the internet. I'm going to generally assume that it's kind of one of those where you don't know how to interact with people outside of the internet, and then that morphs into malice over time as like social rejection scales up and stuff like that. And obviously, like, I'm maybe psychoanalyzing a little bit too much when it's not fully my place and I do not know these people. But it is an interesting perspective of just like, I don't think the internet is like, I think the internet is actually really good for some people, but I also think it's this like absolute hell that we've consigned ourselves to in the worst possible way, with minimal experience or training. And like anybody and everybody growing up that I interacted with that was older than me pretty much didn't understand the internet. You know, they use it for Google, maybe email, but like only a small portion of the population knew anything about forums. you know, forums were very much a thing for the ultra techie guys, and so, like even my own parents and my dad, you know, is very experienced with computers, but let's see, let's go for the magnetic. And pickup radius seems like a good idea. Let's see, multicast of everything or double as much for slightly less than everything. We'll just do double as much for slightly less. But so like my dad never really ever interacted with the internet socially. It was always more of a resource for him. And even then, the internet wasn't really his thing. He was much more of a computers guy. And so like, I spent a lot of time growing up on forums, largely unmoored. And nobody could really like advise me on whether or not I was being safe or even interacting with the right people. And I think ultimately I was fine. I've got a decent head on my shoulders and I never really interacted with anybody too weird. But I feel like it's probably gotten even worse nowadays. Like back then in the 2000s, especially prior to social media, it's like the internet kind of didn't exist the moment you turned it off, and now the internet is there no matter what you do. And okay, yeah, it still is the same thing, but like stuff that's happening on Twitter can actively affect my job. And admittedly, my job is an always online social media thing that straight up barely existed back in the 2000s. Like my friends and I made dumb Halo videos that we put up on Google Video of all places, but never went any further than that, and I don't think we got any kind of following. I don't even know if subscribers were a thing back then. Like I think this is the early days where we were just happy enough that it would show up on like search results page for, you know, Halo PC headshot compilation or something like that. Holy fire, damage modifier of everything. Sure, holy fire. And crit damage or more magnetic. Let's go more magnetic. Wow. A lot of EXP I've apparently left behind. I don't know. I'll work on magnets, question mark. I don't really have too much of a preference one way or another. It's just kind of rolling. Let's see. Blades of light damage? Yeah, I don't think we need that much more survivability. 240 HP seems decent. I only just took 5 from that bonk, but I could be wrong. Yeah, I don't really want to deal with Leviathan. Do you want to do burn or more movement speed? I gotta go fast. I've yet to actually play Sonic Frontiers, and I think today might be the day that I just load it up for a bit. But who knows? Well, what was I going to say? Internet, being on more, being on forums. I feel like today it's a little bit riskier, and you're more likely to find people that are actively, like, trying to get you to do anything. I think this was true, too, back in the day, too, but it was more just kind of like the creepy predators. Whereas, like, now it feels like a lot of people with ulterior motives have more, like, societal grade changes in mind, rather than just, like, wanting to skis on teens. Which, admittedly, is freaking creepy and gross and wildly inexcusable. But, you know, the last X number of years have kind of been this, like, eye-opening experience of, like, you know, holy shit, social media is, like, good and bad in the worst possible way. And it's really interesting seeing that dichotomy go by, and also feeling kind of like I don't know. No, I can't say that I'm like part of the problem apart from like distracting people, which like I do actually feel a little bit bad about. We're on just full ramble mode today, as I just watch special effects flash in front of me and I run in circles. I'm just aiming for mass. Crit strikes have a chance to bleed. Sure. But distracting people. I'm very much a work-oriented guy. I like getting distracted, but I have 1,000 things I want to do. And my problem is that I do not have enough time or skill or resources to do them. Let's see. Damaged Blade of Light. Caster Conceived Blades of Light. I just want to go fast. I should probably focus damage too, but you never know. But so oftentimes, like, you know, I want to work on NaNoWriMo, but I write really well at night. But I also have work to do that sometimes extends kind of late into the night. And so it's always kind of the, like, you know, do I skip the work that I need to do? Do I skip the work that I need to do in favor of the work that I want to do? Or do I, you know, keep focusing on finishing stuff up, question mark? So last night was very much like, I just want to go to bed early. But I think yesterday was a mess just because allergies, and I think that's been universally true for me for a little while now, of just like, ugh, allergies are brutal. But things and reasons and distractions. With YouTube, I always feel kind of bad that I'm probably a distraction for people, but I also know I'm a sleep aid, and I am kind of company while people are, working on other things. So it's like, I'm not that bad. I used to listen to, Metal Gear Solid LPs back when I did, schoolwork in college. And so I just, you know, throw on the LP and just kind of hang out with these people and listen to them while I got my work done. So it's like, I'm probably not as big of a distraction as I think I am, but I always feel bad when somebody says like, yeah, I'm procrastinating on my homework to watch you, and I'm like, don't, get back to work, please. Do not throw away your grades just to hang out and watch a video. I'll be here. I'm gonna be here as long as YouTube's around, probably. I mean, unless I reach the end of my natural lifespan, at which point, I mean, I think at that point we're good, and holy shit, how many videos I'm gonna have. I'm looking forward to 20 years from now, somebody leaves a comment on like a Scrap Mechanic or Hollow Knight video being like, oh man, my grandpa talked about this game, or like my dad really liked this game when he was younger, and I'm like, holy shit. And I talk to Shell every once in a while about, like, she had Missile Command on the Atari, and has talked about playing it, and a couple other Atari games. And there's very much that kind of feeling of just like, holy shit, these games are ancient. In a way that almost renders them unplayable. I might be a bit too judgmental on that one. But like, I feel like going back to SNES games holds up. Those games tend to be pretty good. Going back to like early NES or like Atari games, maybe not so much so. There's definitely some examples of games that like really do actually hold up from that era. You know, OG Mario is timeless. Though I would still say a lot of the modern renditions are more fun. Let's see. Let's just go for the poison. Not that it really matters. I can't even really tell what I'm doing anymore. I'm not even really looking at the screen. I could almost just close my eyes and wander around for a while and probably be fine with it. Let's see. Crit chance, crit chance. Because yeah, what is it up to? 53%. Solid. Obviously, if I can get up to 100%, ooh baby, but... yeah, what else is there to say on the ramble? I don't know, social skills. Go touch grass every once in a while. Not as an insult, but just because it is important. Like, one of the things that's kept me the most grounded over the last couple of years has mostly been, I mean, Shell, but we go out on really long walks and just kind of dump. And admittedly, it's not always the best. You know, using your best friends or your partner as your therapy friend can get a little dicey. And so there's definitely a couple of things that I'll be like, okay, stop, we can't talk about this anymore. Because I'm just tired of it. So like, our current topic that I think Shell wants banned is me talking about like, finding a place to move to. Because I desperately want to have, you know, my own space again. That I'm not allergic to. Ooh, ow, holy shit, ow. I walked through his fire and took a lot of damage. This is the one problem with massing special effects, is that it is a self-nerfing. It is a pretty hefty self-nerf. Now, do we keep going? Yeah, what's the worst that can happen, right? I might as well stick to just one run per episode. I don't think I'm gonna go full endless, but considering I almost died just walking through that dude's fire, I'm probably going to beef it fairly soon. But I might as well just really get a ton of EXP here, and then die at some point. I do hope we get some more interesting perks and power cards at some point. One of the things I'm noticing with this game is that almost all of them are just AoE multicast, damage, or cooldown reduction. And this definitely could use some of the like really weird or like game-changing abilities that Rogue Genesia has. But I also recognize that I'm more or less just advocating for more Rogue Genesia, which I really like Rogue Genesia. But either way, like I was saying, you know, it's super grounding to be able to go out on a long walk and just kind of talk about stuff. And so that's been kind of one of my main ways of staying, like, functional? Question mark? I mean, I think I'd probably be fine in a wide variety of circumstances. I'm fairly adaptable. I don't do well with allergies, and I do not do well with lack of sleep, which is always a problem because I have this, I don't know if it's insomnia, really. It probably is, but one of the big things that gets me is I wake up and then I'm immediately like, okay, this is what I want to do. And then I roll over and look at the clock and it's 5 a.m. and I'm like, damn it. You know, I went to bed at midnight, maybe didn't fall asleep for a little bit, and now I'm up at 5, too tired to do anything, but too jazzed about X or Y thing that I want to do to go back to sleep. And so, like, I have a bunch of video essay review kind of compilation videos that I want to work on for Wanderbot Prime, which is my side video essay channel, by the way, if you didn't know. Where I talk about more important topics that I talk about often or think about often in a way that I can finally like brain dump and not have to explain it anymore. You know, I don't really feel like explaining what a bullet heaven is anymore because I did. I've got a whole video on it. And while I could you know, rehash what I said every single time I bring it up, I think that's boring because I've got a solid video that people can go watch instead. And that's kind of therapeutic in and of itself, in terms of like not having to worry about repeating myself constantly over the same topics. And especially like game concepts, like what's a roguelike versus a roguelite? Yeah, I'm not even going to like broach that. Check my video. I feel like I'm being a little cocky with this, but like you have no idea how therapeutic. You have no idea how therapeutic it is to put your thoughts out in a video form. So if somebody asks you like the same question, like I don't know, let's say like your dad's a sculptor and sculpts like a weird unicorn centaur statue and puts it in your yard, and every time anybody comes over they ask about it. I think maybe the first X number of times you'd be fine about it, but after certain points it'd just be like, here's the pamphlet. It explains the history of or did I say unicorn centaur? I meant gnome centaur. Brain. But you know, here's what my dad said about it. Kind of like in a museum, how they have the little explanations next to them. Though I never feel like that's enough. I wish it was deeper. But that might just be a me thing. I don't know. Let's see. But so, being able to tap the sign for things. Ooh, extra dashes? Sure. Being able to tap the sign for various topics, I think is kind of valuable, just in terms of like, I don't like repeating myself, especially on the internet where I can tap the sign. I think in real life, I wouldn't mind explaining it as much. So like, I don't know, I was at a family reunion this summer, and it would come up every once in a while of like, oh, right. You know, you're the relative that is like a online broadcaster. And I'm like, yep. And for the most part, I would gladly explain it. One or two of them were a little weird. But at least that side of the family was mostly fine. And mostly understood. Let's see. Damage, but Blade of Light. I mean, yeah, might as well. I still automatically kind of go for the universal upgrades first, just because, but I'm just gonna keep grabbing Touch of Ice. It might seem a little silly considering enemies are barely moving towards me, but if we can get any of those combo special effects, I will be, I don't know, reasonably happy. I will say though, this is a very slow setup that I think I'm not going to go on. I don't think I'm going to want to go on to Endless 3. I think that'll take forever and not be very fun. Maybe once we have like more meta progression and gear, and also right, the weapons, because you can upgrade the weapons for each of the characters once you hit a certain level. So I think I'll probably limit myself to endless runs. Okay, there he is. The only immediate problem is I cannot see. I cannot see. Oh, boy. I cannot see any of his special effects through my own. I'll go for Unbreakable. Keep scaling the damage. Magnetic. Just never have to pick anything up. But yeah, so most of my relatives, at least the younger ones, kind of understand what I'm doing. It was interesting talking to one of my cousins, and she only lets her kids play video games for like an hour a week. Severely limits what they watch on YouTube and a bunch of other stuff like that. And at the time was like asking me about like, hey, you know, these are YouTubers that my kids watch. You know, are they okay? And it just went down the list and I'm like, no. These are like the worst kind of people on Minecraft. Kids really like the, well, at least these kids really liked the kind of jerkish, trolly Minecraft prank channels where they do mean things to each other. I think it very much jives with kids' desire to be impish, which, you know, can't really judge that. I never grew out of that. But many of these were like really mean and a little weird. Like, I'm not going to say that the Minecraft content I make, what little of it is really meant for kids. And in fact, I'd actually argue that it's probably super not worth showing to kids, because they're probably just gonna look at the shit I'm doing and be like, eh, and get bored. Hence why these like pranky channels are so fun for them, because it's kind of a safe space to be mean to people in a way that is socially acceptable, question mark. When I was a kid on the playground, kids had invented it was like the poking game where you just poke each other as hard as you can in the sides. And I've got fairly, I don't want to say fairly strong fingers, but like, I discovered that I could just outpoke anyone just by being extremely mean and just outpoking them. Which kind of sucked, because then I just got used to the idea of, you know, jabbing people in the sides, and didn't really think about how this could be very much unappreciated for somebody that's not really in on it. Magnetic? Yeah, I'll just keep doing magnetic. I don't know. And it took me a while to grow out of that, and so like when I see those kinds of YouTube channels, going back to the whole social stunting thing, you kind of create an environment where it becomes acceptable to be mean or harmful to other people, and pass it off as, oh, it's just a prank, bro. And So I felt kind of bad going through and being like, yeah, no, none of these YouTubers are good for kids. But I kind of stand by it as well, because it just very much was not really content that I would show to a child. I'm trying to think of YouTubers that I know of that I would. Few and far between, almost. But I think that's mainly just because I'm not looking for YouTubers that are a little bit more family friendly. Because I think most YouTubers I know generally have content and commentary that is way more fun and interesting for adults. I know when like Shell and I do stuff like Minecraft together, or Pokemon together, we will actively go out of our way to have cleaner language, or at least kind of try to have cleaner language. Obviously not always super possible because I'm inattentive and jerksome. But yeah, I'm trying to think of like, I mean, just generally wholesome content is the trick. And you can get by with some other content creators that are maybe still aimed at adults, but it's fine. I guess it also depends on like, if you care about language. Because like my friends over at Stumped are great people, but I think you're gonna teach your kid how to swear by watching them. Is that a problem? I don't know. 20% damage modifier or 40% on, or 40% damage modifier or 20% AoE. I still want to go for that AoE just because big hits and stuff, but alas. At least I'll have a ton of resources after this, and we're clearing this out pretty quick. Yeah, I think I'll end this off after. At this point, I can't really see what's going on. And I kind of want to get this character some upgrades. But like, Stumped would probably mostly be fine. But otherwise, I don't know. A lot of YouTubers I don't think are particularly great viewing if you want to have like a small child watch content. I remember talking to a developer and it's like, yeah, like me and my 6-year-old watch you. Admittedly, the 6-year-old's probably like 12 or 13 at this point because this is quite some time ago. Wow, damn. I really did not invest in Smite at all. But I guess it's wholly empowering, lasting area and physical. Yeah, go figure. Let's see. Yeah, that definitely was kind of an impetus for me to be like, oh yeah, I should clean up my language a little bit. It's not perfect, but I don't swear as much as I used to, I know that much. Okay, there he goes. Did I crit him for 7 million damage? I think I did. That's a good feeling. And did I get up to 98? Crit. That's a shame. Well, one way or another, we've completed 100% of Endless Mode Cycle 1, and possibly 2. How many levels does my Paladin get for this? 11, not bad. And we also got a bunch of prestige and some other things. Let's see what I can spend. Whew! I got some resources. Oh. Of the Overlord mode, Cycle 2. What is Overlord? Well, we did unlock the Legionnaire. Chaos Nature, Fire, Electric, Shadow, Thrust, and Bomb. Not the character that I wanted to unlock necessarily, but it's fine. If I take a look at this, no, Blacksmith? The Paladin. Selected material? Maybe we can't? Maybe only some of these characters have weapons. Yeah, he does. Only a handful of these characters actually have weapon upgrades? Huh. Or there's some other way to unlock them. Either way, I'll keep it in mind. Because, yeah, I'd like to get the better weapons for these guys. So, did we actually get any of these? Yes, we did. Let's see. Curses. Tons of enemies. So what is this? Start the game with a special weapon skill for your currently selected weapon. 15% less damage from all sources. You're also resistant to pushback, and random targeted area effects are now targeted at your position instead. Ooh. Ooh. Ooh, that's really good. Boy, runic power is expensive and hard to accrue. I think I'm gonna grab the weapon expert just to start with an extra thing. And yeah, it looks like we can only have up to 5 runes, but that's fine. Let's see, unique skills, Beacon of Light, and then 2 more are locked. Oh, that's interesting. Might be based on prestige levels, like you get one at level 5, probably? Actually, no, I was hoping I could see what other tiers are. Well, either way, I have this character. I don't think I'm going to play as him. I think I'll pick characters that actually have weapons that can be upgraded, maybe. But I still think I want this guy. I'm also curious about Overlord mode, when that shows up. Because yeah, we have the Spell Blade. Projectile and Blast. Yeah, see, I'm really hoping I can get my hands on, like, the full summon build. Because I've done a little bit of it, but not enough. Either way, I guess I will see you guys all on the next episode of Soulstone Survivors. There we go, I can remember. I'll play this regularly, especially when I don't have anything better to do. Or when I'm warming up in the morning and I want something simple to just kind of rant over. Rant? Ramble. Definitely ramble more than rant. But, anyway, thanks for watching. See you next time.